Welcome along to round 12 SFL Media Conference. We have Daniel Willing, coach of Lindisfarne, Jack Crossin from the Claremont Football Club. This week's feature game is Lindisfarne Claremont, top versus second. So great round of games again this weekend. Jack, we'll speak to you first. How's Claremont going to bounce back from successive losses to Cygnet and New Norfolk to overcome Lindisfarne?
Well, look, I think with the two losses in the last two games, I think we've learnt a lot. You can learn a lot more from a loss than a win. I think there was a few points there that we were lacking, and we've touched up on them points over the last couple of weeks, and hopefully this week we get a few back from injury, and that'll help our younger guys as well as our mature guys win this game.
Yep, so who's some of the players that you have missed in the last couple of games?
I think our backline running from Nick Hobden to Braden Barwick, who's the general down there every week, and I think our midfield run, Sam Hobden as well, he's hurt us definitely in the guts as well. Obviously Brownie's a big part of our Claremont side, so he's been missing for the last couple of weeks, and he'll play a big part this week. So
obviously losing those guys over the last couple of weeks, you've had to bring some younger players into the team. How have they been?
Yeah, look, our younger guys have stepped up, like Nick Davis, Ryan Smith, Jake Harris as well. He's a 16-year-old who's had to really step up in the last couple of weeks. They've stepped up, but our mature age guys have had to as well. So, and we haven't been playing good football. So, look, I think this week's going to be a very big test for us. We really need to kickstart the second start of our season.
Yes, obviously potential for, set the winner up this week for top of the ladder, running through to the end of the fixture. Both teams would be keen to win, obviously. You guys currently been sitting there for 11 weeks, so keen to stay there.
Yeah, we are. Look, we don't want to drop back any more spots. We want to cement that top spot throughout the season. I think this game is a must-win for Claremont Football Club, and we're looking forward to it.
Yep. Daniel, big match obviously for the Blues this week. Just reiterating what I said to Jack, obviously top spot up for grabs for the winner this week and could set them up for the remainder of the season. How are you going to win the game?
Well, definitely a massive game. There's long-term ramifications in terms of where you're going to finish at the end of the year, and obviously Claremont are keen to hold top spot and we're keen to get it. I think the top spot gives you a massive advantage in our competition. It's not just only the week off, it's a chance to get a double crack at a grand final. So obviously that's sort of further down the track, but we need to look long-term in terms of where we want to finish. So it's a massive game. In terms of where we're going to win it, I think we need to focus probably more on what we're going to do rather than what Claremont are going to do. So we'll go out there and try and play a strong brand of footy, and we're getting there with that. We've been inconsistent through the year in terms of our brand, but we're slowly getting there. A lot of turnover of players are starting to get to know each other well, and we're starting to play a stronger defensive brand of footy, which is great, but we're understanding that we're playing a very good football team. So we're going to need to be on our game, and while we'll mainly concentrate on the way we want to play, there are some things that we'll do to try and stop their strengths, which they've got a lot of.
Yep. Obviously had a great start last week's game down at Dodgers.
Yeah, massive. It's as good a footy as we've played this year for sure. Sort of based around pressure. We were able to lay 16 tackles in our front half in the first quarter, and we got away to an 8-2 start. And I think when you get away to those types of starts, it's really hard for the opposition to come back from that. The rest of the game was reasonably even, but we were able to get away to that start, and mentally we got the edge, and our guys were unbelievable. And I understand that we're probably not going to be able to play at that strong a level consistently for 4 quarters, but if we can get somewhere near that, we'll be hard to beat.
Yep. Other games this week is Sorrel playing New Norfolk, Huonville Lions and Cygnet, which is the other big game this weekend, 3 versus 4. How do you see that game going?
That's a massive game. It's just as important for them as it is for us and Claremont. I think Huonville have got a game up their sleeve if they've had their bye, so whoever loses our game on Saturday possibly slip to 3rd position if Huonville win. So that's an important game for them, and I think for Cygnet, if they're able to get over the top of Huonville, they'll go equal on points. So that's another strong game. I mean, I think Mickey Paul's been out with a hamstring injury, and I think that'll play a big part as whether he plays or not. So probably not thinking about that game too much, but it does have a say on what happens later in the year, because Huonville have got that game up their sleeve and could possibly get to top spot themselves over the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yep. Jack, how do you see that matchup?
Yeah, it looked like Daniel said, we're not reading into much of the other games this week. We're really concentrating on Lindisfarne this week. But Signet was really strong against us 2 weeks ago, and they bring the pressure on us, and look, they're outstanding. So I think Huonville and Signet will be a great game. Same as Daniel said, Huonville need to win this, and I think if they do win, they can almost go for top spot. So I think it'll be one of the other games that everyone will be going to watch. Yep.
Certainly a massive weekend of SFL footy this week. 1 verse 2, 3 verse 4.
Absolutely.
Hobart played Brighton at the TCA, rounds out the other game of the round. Both of you have played against New Norfolk in the preceding 2 rounds. Look like they might be slowly on the improve.
Yeah, I think so. I think what you've got with New Norfolk, and they've had a massive turnover of players as well, but what you get is a really strong top end. So we played them, and Park actually didn't play against us, but all their experienced senior players played really well. We got 5 goals up, and they really come at us and challenged us and got back under a goal, and we were able to steady and win. But from the first game to the last time we played them, they'd made massive improvement. I think like any team, you get your best players playing well, you're always a chance to win, and they've got some really, really good players that can hurt you. So they're a game out of the 5, I think, but I think there'll be some nervous teams if they manage to get in.
How did you see them last week, Jack?
Yeah, very strong. Like Daniel said, their top end players played a big part in the win. I think Parker, Ford, Wig in the midfield give them a good drive, and Horn as well. So I think they've got 5 or 6 players, the same as every side, that really stood up for them, and they got the win. And look, they brought the heat and the pressure on us, and I think our younger guys didn't stand up, and same as our experienced guys didn't stand up. So this week we're going to have to bring a different brand of football.
Yep. And just to wrap up, it's good to see the continuation of young players coming into senior teams and performing well across the competition. I've mentioned young Swinton before for you guys, Daniel. Notice he's still been continually in the best players, so that's very positive.
He's an outstanding prospect. He didn't play last week. Nothing serious. He was just a tad sore and being young. We just rested him. He'll play again this week. He's his 2 best on grounds in a row. Prior to that, he's attack on the ball, and he's really clean, breaks lines, really strong for his age. So he's an outstanding prospect. But we just got to be careful not to put too much pressure on him. He's just a kid, and I know Claremont have got a lot of those types in their team at the moment as well. You can't put too much pressure on them. You've got to rely on your experienced players to stand up and play well around them. I think if your experienced players play well, your kids tend to stand up a bit better. Yeah, so we've got a lot of players between sort of 18 and 21, 22 in our team. I think that's sort of the nucleus of our side at the moment. So yeah, it's great for the competition, definitely. And I think every team we've played this year, I see the same thing. Lots of kids running around, and the speed of the game seems to have picked up a bit over the last couple of years, bringing those kids in. So it's exciting, definitely.
Very exciting. SFL last week announced its under-18 training squad for the rep game upcoming. And of a list of about 40 players, I think roughly half have played senior football this year, which is really outstanding to have that quality of player being considered for selection for the South. So thanks, gentlemen, for coming along this week for our SFL Media Conference. Good luck for the weekend.
Thanks.
Cheers.